This is the Recovery Lab.
Here we dive deep into the struggles, victories, and hope that stem from recovery.
No shame, no judgment, just truth, grace, and inspiration.
Let's walk this road together.
Hey guys, welcome to episode number 124 of Recovery Lab. I'm Brynn Knox.
I'm David Sugg.
I'm Daniel Anderson.
We are Recovery Lab. We are here this week with Nick Spradley. It's super cool to see you in the studio with us, man. I've been watching you for a long, long time, watching you through windows and admiring all your work. It's been really cool. I love seeing people in recovery that come in and just take off like a rocket ship, man. Like come in. It's all about attitude. Like that's what I've recognized in my walk of recovery is like people come in, they expect to just kind of get it by showing up, by suiting up and showing up, going to a lot of meetings. They don't put their hand out. They don't talk. They don't do anything. And they don't get much of nothing. And watching you, it's like I've just seen you always attempt to put the hand out, talk to people, show up at meetings, running sober living houses, and now being the executive director of Shower Power. Seeing you in that venue. I went this last Friday just because I wanted to say hello and see the people. I mean, just like smiling and being attentive. I mean, just your attitude just radiates recovery. And like, that's what I'm so excited to get your story here today. I know Brynn's going to hammer you with a lot of really personal questions, a lot of good stuff. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming in, man. What's been happening?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Like you said, it's been a rocket takeoff since my departure from prison,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's been great, though. I mean, just like you said, you just lending out a hand and stuff has been so important to me, and it's opened doors for me that I never thought manageable that would never happen. And it's just been great. I mean, sobriety's great. I'm grateful to be here. People like you, lived in your house, you've been with me since before I got out. So, yeah, you are definitely part of the story, Thank you and a lot of other people that have been there for me, just that saw the potential and gave me a chance, an opportunity to take off. So I'm grateful.
Well, I feel like a third wheel. Y'all live together?
He came to one of our houses.
Yeah.
And we're always really slow to take people out of the penitentiary just because you just don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to communicate. And then the scheduling is difficult because they just, you've got to do certain things to get out. You got to get an address. You got to get approval from different people. It's not just show up at a house, but we've got to get a good feel of who's coming out. So it can be really, really hard, but we got to really, because you were communicating with us for a number of months. It wasn't just like call, fly by night. Yeah. And we started to get a real good feeling about Nick. It was like, and before you even came, Chris was like, I think Nick's going to be great. I think I might make him my house manager. Like, dude, he's not even here yet. He's like, just the way he's communicating, the way he's talking, the questions he's asking. He's sober now. And man, I'll tell you how hard it is to stay sober in the pen. Like, dude, it's miserable in there. It's miserable. I mean, and I remember just like making crappy booze under my bed to like stealing medication. I mean, whatever I could do to avoid reality. Mm-hmm. But like staying sober in there and that you were doing it and not just doing it like, yeah, I'm sober, but like doing it like, no, I'm going to meetings. I have a spiritual practice I'm doing. Like, I mean, you were really communicating the stuff that represents I'm being sober here. And so we had a really good feel. But yeah, he came and stayed with us for a little while.
That's so cool. So wait, how did you hear about David and their houses? Like, what did that process look like while you were in there? Was there someone sort of helping you in the transition part and mentioned his houses or what?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. So when I was in CMCF, which is here in Mississippi, they have AA meetings. Mm-hmm. And I attended one right off the bat as soon as I got here. And ran into a guy that comes in from outside and started talking to him. And he knew David and Chris Grave, and he's in the recovery community, obviously, as well, and has been for years, like 30 or 40 years. Like, he's got a lot of sobriety under his belt. So I asked him to be my sponsor because we don't have sponsors inside there. The only option is to do like sponsorship through the mail. And you don't want to do like your fourth step and fifth step on paper, you know,
Right.
when they're reading it, you know, I mean, you might be in there for longer, you know, so, you know, I was really apprehensive about that. So the first person I saw that could possibly be an in-person sponsor, I'm like, will you sponsor me? And
Yeah.
that's how it took off. So he knew the parole date and everything like that. And I asked him, I had read a little bit before that when you get out of prison, it's very smart just to have somebody from our group pick you up and take you straight to a safe place and get you set up. So I took that advice and ran with it and asked him, and he put me in touch with Chris, which is one of David's right-hand men.
Yeah.
And started talking to him about 6 months before I got out, maybe a little bit longer, and went through so many different scenarios, different houses to go to, and just really felt comfortable with Chris. And like David was saying, they really enjoyed speaking with me too. So that's how it took off and how I got in touch with David, moved into Founder Recovery Homes.
So what gave you that like drive to
Yeah,
like,
that's what
I
I'm
want to
wondering.
sponsor, like, and like, where did that come from?
Okay, so
And then tell me about your whole childhood.
yeah. Okay, we'll just play this in reverse.
Okay.
How's that sound? Okay,
Yeah.
so let's back up to December 16th, 2020. I had been running around like crazy and just in active addiction, doing all kinds of stuff, like on the news, wanted.
I knew I recognized you.
This is in Memphis. You're in Memphis. And so just all the crazy things, right? And disassociated with my family. Nobody wanted to be around me. They were scared. Just a horrible situation. I was at a friend's house in a really nice neighborhood, and I had a nice vehicle at the time, an expensive vehicle. And so at 3 o'clock in the morning, this is what saved me. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I decided I wanted more heroin. And so I told my friend, I'll be right back. I had just gotten out of the shower. It's wintertime. It's cold. I'm in shorts and a T-shirt. Got in my car, pull up to a stop sign. Cop pulls up to the stop sign. There's nobody else around in this neighborhood. We both look at each other, and I'm like, it's about to go down, you know? So he got behind me and pulled me over. I tried to lie and get out of it and do all these things, you know? And as I'm sitting in the back of the cop car, he's handing me cell phones. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. You know, those aren't mine, you know? And he's calling them. He had the number to all of them. So they're like ringing one by one on my lap. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, this is over with.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't get it.
I just had a bunch of phones because of all the extracurricular activities I was doing.
Yeah, but how did he know the numbers?
I have no idea to this day. But it spooked me enough. And it was almost like that connecting moment.
Yeah.
It was a very surreal moment. I can even feel it, the same feeling now that I had then talking about it. And I was like, this is crazy.
So were you pushing dope and basically they were looking into you and they had like, explain that a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's, okay. So,
Yeah.
so you were being investigated.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
My brother was a police officer at the time, and I'm sure he handles things a little bit differently. Like we still don't have really a good relationship, but I know no matter what, he was extremely worried. And so I know that he was pushing a lot of stuff because he wanted me to get better.
Yeah.
You know, I have a son, so, you know, and I'm his little brother. He just wanted to get better. So I don't know this to be 100% true. I've heard bits and pieces. I'm sure I'll get the full story eventually. But I would have to believe that he had something to do with it, to just try to get me to slow down and realize what I was doing is so wrong. Like, you know, quit, but I just wasn't ready at the time. So at that point with the police officer, I knew that it was over, and it was just like an epiphany. I was like, this is it. You know, I don't know where my kid is. You know, I mean, I know where he is, but I'm not in his life. We were super close, you know.
How old was he at the time?
He was a little guy. He was like in kindergarten or maybe first grade. And yeah, I had been with him every day up until that point. Like I had worked in real estate, and me and his mom were married and everything. But at that point, she had cut off communication with him and I to protect him, and rightfully so. You know, I mean, like, thank God she is a wonderful person and level-headed and able to protect him, because it was getting to that place of just complete insanity where it probably would have been even worse for him than it is now. So I went to jail in Tennessee. I had a slew of charges, and I just kind of made a deal with myself that this is over and it's time to be sober. It's time to make your life better. And I didn't know how long I would be in there. I was told different things. The first was like 10 months. You'll get out and you won't have to go to Mississippi. You'll just, But then 10 months of staying sober, thinking I was going to get out, found out that I wasn't going to get out. It was a little longer. It was right at a little under 2 years before I got out of Memphis. I got out for good behavior and went in front of the judge, and he was like, yeah, you've done great. This is during COVID too. So we didn't have AA. I didn't have AA. I didn't come into the program to get sober. Like, this was white knuckling it, doing it completely on my own with like the help of my dad, because he knew about it. So he would help me out. He would send me like NA workbooks or like an NA book, or talk to me, or just I would call and I'd be so mad and like in myself about somebody, and he's like, "Look, you did this." He would bring me back to reality for the acceptance. Like, you need to understand, Nick, that you've created this.
Yeah.
And you need to accept that so that you can be able to move on, So I think with him, he's probably one of the biggest catalysts in maintaining sobriety and getting into the program. Without him, I don't know how much I would do, because with COVID, nothing was going on inside the prison. I mean, nothing at all. We didn't even get haircuts for like a year and a half. They took away razors, and nobody could shave.
Bombers running around.
Everybody looked like a caveman, right? Like they were cutting their hair with like toenail clippers. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
So finally, when it kind of lifted up, right towards the end of the time of being in Memphis, I met a therapist, Dr. Chantel Stokes. She's awesome. I talk to her to this day. And she took a liking to me as well. And she saw potential, and she was like, you're going to do this and you're going to do fine, and I'm going to help you.
Wow.
And we remain close until this day. I mean, I still talk to her. She's still in Memphis, still works for the prison system in a different capacity now. But
That's cool that you can get therapy in prison. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that sounds like it played a big part in all of it, just having those sounding boards of her and then your dad.
Right. They were instrumental,
Yeah.
to say the least. I mean, I can't think of enough good things to say about them and what they did for me, but just being introduced at these certain times throughout my life and my sobriety journey, they happened at the right time. You like look back on it, and it is such like an emotional thing to timeline to watch, because God has really placed certain people in my life at the right times, and things are just like flourishing, and they teach us in our program just to do the next right thing. And that's what I have, that's what I've done, is just every day, all the time, just do the next right thing, and it'll work out, even the bad.
Yeah.
It's true. It's 100% true. I'm living proof.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like when you were at that stop sign and all that was happening, it sounds so similar to what you were talking about when you would talk about the relief that you felt when the gig was up.
Yeah. Yeah, there'd just be times I'd be out there running and gunning so hard, and I'd see those blue lights, and right after I got over the panic of it, and I knew I was going to jail, it was just like, okay, let's go get some rest. Let's just be done, because it's just so exhausting out there. Just haven't slept, haven't eaten. Everybody hates me. Everybody's out to get me. It's like, let me just at least go hide in a jail cell for a little while and just be done with it. Done with it.
That's funny you said that, because all right, so I never had withdrawals. I was shooting heroin and meth at the same time as many times as I could during the day. It was like an $800 a day drug habit at times. I mean, it was super, there was never enough to keep me, where I wanted to be. And the miraculous thing about all that is when I got into that jail cell, I never had any withdrawal symptoms.
That's crazy.
That's
Period.
wild.
But I slept. That's one thing I did do. I slept for like 30 days. So I had this jail cellie.
Hibernation, brother.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
was.
sleep, dude.
It was. So in Memphis, you're in like a tall building in jail, and you go to different floors. You start out on what's called lower level, and then you go up to different floors once you get classified before your court date. So on lower levels, like the first stop, And everybody had known me in the jail at this point, like all the guards, and they're like, "Oh, Nick, you know, it's going to be okay. We're going to get you some medicine and
Yeah.
we're going to get you calmed down and stuff." And I'm like, "No, I don't need any." And so I had the cellie, and he was so nice. I'll never forget him. And we apparently moved like to a different floor and then a different floor after that. And when I woke up, what I feel like woke up, like 30 days later, I went there December 16th. So it was like middle of January. I woke up and
It
I'm
was
like,
the next year.
"Is it Christmas?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, Christmas is over with." He's
It's
like, "I'm
a
so
wrap."
glad to see you. You just been sleeping the entire time." He's like, "They've been bringing your food, but you haven't been eating it." He's like,
Wow.
"You woke up to use the restroom, like once a day, and that was it." And it is the weirdest thing. I do not remember those first 30 days.
Wow.
I vaguely remember Christmas Eve, now that I think about it, because I had ordered a ton of commissary. I went to jail and they let me keep my money. So I remember like placing an order when I first
Yeah.
got there, and I woke up, after all this, and he was like, "Yeah, you just woke up and ate a bunch of like warheads and stuff like that and went right back to sleep on Christmas Eve." I'm like, "Okay, great." He was like, "I'm just so glad you're okay. I thought something was very wrong with you, man."
Yeah.
He's like, "You've just been sleeping." But yeah, so it was bizarre. And I really, if he ever listens to this, thank you for, looking out for me, man.
Right?
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up, man. If you try to do it on purpose, you couldn't do it. Like if
Yeah.
you try to lay in a room and sleep and for a month, it wouldn't happen. But
Right.
after doing all those drugs and being out there running that hard, I mean, it takes a long, long time. That's one of the things too I see about guys that come in and they go do 28 days at a really nice facility or whatever, but from streets to facility to come back out, and they wonder why they're so discombobulated and things aren't right. It's like, dude, you haven't even had time to detox. I don't care if
Yeah.
you did the proper
Right.
detox. I mean, 30 days is nothing.
Nothing.
I had a guy with like 90 days sobriety, like, when's it going to get better? I was like, it's going to be a lot longer, dude. Trust me. Like, you just need to chill out. It just takes a long, long time to just level out. And yeah, I got that. I'm pretty sure the reason that my recovery took off like it did too is because I had those years in the penitentiary. And I wasn't sober in there, but I wasn't balls to the wall like what you're talking about, like where it's just $800 a day habit.
Yeah.
I mean, I had this period where I would go like 5, 6, 7 days and I wouldn't have anything. And so like just the levels, the chemicals in my mind weren't as bad as they could have been. And so then when it was time for me to like, all right, I'm going to do recovery, it happened pretty quick. There wasn't like this great period of fog that I see a lot of people have to go through. And it sounds like you knocked it all out in a month. You're just
Right.
like a couple of warheads in about 2 weeks. Other
Exactly.
than that, man,
Right.
I'm not going to do a whole lot.
Like
Yeah.
I knew the routine by that time. I knew to order that commissary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right. One thing I will say is brain fog.
Mhm.
So I remember in early recovery, my dad just kept telling me, just keep writing, just write your thoughts, like write everything down. And so I would go back and there wouldn't be like punctuation and my words would be misspelled. And I know that I'm not the smartest man, but I know that I'm, like what's going on cognitively here. And that brain fog took about 1.5 years to get over,
Mm.
to where I could actually like formulate coherent sentences that made sense,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's a really weird thing. And you're completely correct. 30 days is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things we need to fix in our,
Yeah.
recovery realm. I don't know what or how, but
30 days is what I would do just so I could catch a buzz again.
exactly,
Yeah.
Like 30 days is what I would do just so I could get high again.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll bring
Yeah.
you back down to where you can actually enjoy it again.
Yeah.
Because just maintaining is no fun.
Mm.
I would in my active addiction in my mind. So I was addicted to, like I said, heroin and meth. To give myself a break, I would shoot crack.
Yes.
I'm like, I need a break. Like, I'm not getting high enough, and so I'm gonna go get some crack.
It's crack.
Like, are you
We're not gonna
serious
smoke
right
it.
now?
No, we're gonna
You
break
know?
this down. A little lime. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna put in a syringe.
Kool-Aid, so you
Yeah,
can be able to
yes.
feel it, and taste
Yeah.
the strawberry, and then bam,
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So you're the real deal.
yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
it just was wild. I
Yeah.
completely just went off the rails.
So how
Yeah.
did this start?
Okay, so for me, a lot of it stemmed around just not being able to be comfortable with like who I was. It's like a sexuality thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have always had like attractions to both. And so I was told though at like a young age that that's not possible, that you either are a gay male or you're a straight male, right? And if you're a straight male that is attracted to a man, then you're just undercover, you know, or you're just low key gay, you know? And so it confused me. And I'm like, man, that, you know, okay. And then I would hear people make fun of people in the community and stuff like that. And I never wanted to be the butt of any jokes. So I just suppressed it. And I didn't know how to act out on it, you know, in a healthy way. So drugs helped me. That's what helped. They helped me numb that whole thing.
How old were you when you first started using?
Well, you started out like with pot, you know, and stuff. And I would say 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, just here and there. And then pot became every day at about 16 years old. And at about 20, cocaine. And here and there. Never really took a hold of me. But somebody I'm really close to introduced me to Loratabs.
Let's get back to the sexual identity. Because I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with. Like, and it brings in a tremendous amount of shame. Like, I was abused when I was very, very young by this old dude, and what effed me up the most is I was like, okay, that felt good. Like, I've never had like a sexual attraction to any man, but I was so hypersexual that it doesn't matter. Like, sex is sex is sex. So, and that's something that I struggled with my whole life.
Yeah.
So let's dive a little bit more into that, because I think that that's something that is very easy to kind of like glaze over, when the reality of the situation for a lot of people is that's something that was a cornerstone in my addiction. The shame, the guilt associated with feeling something contrary to what my parents in the church told me that I needed to feel. So let's dive a little bit more into that for just a little bit, if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever y'all. Sounds good to me.
So
ask me questions and I'll answer them. Yeah, we'll go as deep as you want. I'm completely open.
Okay, so talk a little bit about like the feelings that you had kind of when you first started to realize that this is something that you experienced. Like, what was that? Was there shame associated? Was there guilt? What was that like for you?
Okay, so I don't know if it was like a birth to, you know, now thing or what, but there was a incident that happened when I was younger by somebody close, and I don't know if that is what it is. I've thought about this a lot. Like, I don't know if that has anything to do with my attraction to men or not. And I've come to terms with that I just don't know the answer to that, so I don't really harp on it as much anymore. But speaking of like shame and stuff, yeah, there was a lot of shame attached, because I remember like when it happened, I like ran out of the room, like was freaking out, but I didn't want to tell my parents because I was scared they would be mad, you know? So I suppressed it for a while. And then like it's not a trauma, because again, I didn't initiate it, but I didn't resist it either, because I was attracted to this guy, and he ended up being a high school principal. And I'm sorry, not a high school principal. He was an elementary school principal, and I was in high school. And he would like we would meet up and like go to the school and act out at night. He would like tell his wife, you know, that the alarm went off or whatever. And so he would come pick me up and we would go hang out. And that went on for quite a while. And I remember at a certain point in the early stages, I didn't want to anymore. Like, I just wanted to act out on it to see what it was like. But he was taking it way too far. Like, I didn't want to tell my parents, because again, I was afraid that they would be upset. And not that my parents are completely accepting of everybody. Like, I come from a really good family that's never really been an issue. You know, you can be whoever you want to be, and they're going to love you regardless. You know, I'm very fortunate in that point, but I was afraid that they would be upset because like he's married. And at that age, I still knew better. Like, I knew that this was wrong, you know? And I didn't know how to get out of it. And he's like coming by my parents' house, like driving by my parents' house. He lived in a neighborhood by me. And I just was really freaked out. And I didn't know how to end it. Well, thank God, thank God for me, he fell asleep with his cell phone on. I guess he was looking at whatever website, dating website. I didn't know about anything like that at that time. And his wife picked up the phone, saw it, and a divorce ensued, and it ended it for me,
Yeah.
without me having to end it. So I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
It's over, So that's how I came into it. And then I knew that I was attracted, but like I said, I still was having problems thinking like, all right, am I gay or am I bisexual or am I just like straight, but just curious, and just trying to figure this whole sexuality thing out. And I kept it in. That was, if I could say something that would help somebody else out, I would tell them, just talk to somebody about it. Like I wish I would have done that. If I would have talked to somebody about this whole situation, I don't think this drug thing would have ever happened, period. I think that I could have been able to come to terms with it. And like I said, my family was completely accepting. That wasn't an issue. I more or less with my family, it was, I just didn't want to be made fun of behind my back. Nobody wants to be talked about, and I didn't want that to happen. So yeah, I didn't know how to deal with it. So that's where the pot came in and suppressed those feelings. That was the start. I remember just smoking pot all the time, didn't have to think about it. And I will just date girls and try to maintain. But I was always questioned about my sexuality by my peers and stuff like that. I mean, they saw it. I couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of funny because now that I'm open about it, I don't ever get questioned about it. But when I was trying to suppress it, I think you just act louder in your mannerisms and emotions and stuff like that to where people can understand that something's going on that you're hiding, And yeah, so that's basically how it came about. And then I started actually dating my wife, my future wife, very seriously. And I loved her. I love her. I still do. Like we're still.
Did she know?
No, I didn't tell her. And I wish I would have because she
Another
was
great
another
decision,
one that
Nick.
would have been
Yeah.
fine, like not fine with it, but she would have, if I would have been honest about it, I don't think I would have been like sneaking around
Yeah.
because I was able to suppress those feelings for years. It was just her and I was faithful and everything was good. We had our son and everything. It wasn't until the very end that I started having those feelings again, but there I was on drugs really heavily that she didn't know about, and I realized at certain points that the drugs, like I said, were suppressing those feelings, but they just came boiling over and I couldn't contain it anymore. And so now I'm married, right?
Yeah.
And I have a kid and we are doing pretty well. We have a house and everything like that. How am I going to get out of this? Because I don't want to cheat. I don't want to be that douchebag, but I am. Here we are. So I don't know how to handle this. So more drugs. That was the remedy. So I just kept piling them on and piling them on.
Yeah.
And then finally with that, again, I couldn't have enough strength to end it myself. So I usually make things explode, just completely blow out the bridge. And that's what happened. I stole money from her parents. And they found out about it and they made a police report, which I don't blame them. At this point, like we're getting like evicted from like our apartment. Like everything's really coming down, they had helped us like buy a house and I trashed that, and burnt that out. And I mean, they were helping us nonstop. And so were my parents, they were at this point, like there's no money. I'm not working in real estate anymore. We have this kid. Amanda's working all the time. And, which is my wife. And I'm just using drugs and running wild. And I stole the money from them and they made the police report. I don't believe they pressed charges, but here in the state of Mississippi, I think if you file a police report, the state's allowed to pick it up without the other party's consent. It doesn't matter. It's out of their hands at that time. And so that's what happened. The state came after me and gave me a grand larceny charge.
Are you in Jackson?
I was in Madison. At this
Madison,
point, like I
okay.
said, everything was crumbling and we were living with her parents here in Madison. Just right at the end.
Yeah.
And so she was like, you need to tell me the truth. Like, what's going on? I was like, yeah, I did it. You know, it was just her and I in the morning time or at night. I can't even remember. And she's like, okay, you need to call your parents because you need to leave. You need to figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I called mom and dad. My dad's like, at this point, we weren't even talking. Me and my parents, I was mad at them about something that I had no right to. I just really was wild at this time. And even though we hadn't talked in like 6 months, I had stole money from them too. I had stole like $17,000 at one time out of my parents' safe because at the time, in my own terrible thinking, I'm like, they owe me. Owe me for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, looking back on
stories. Yeah.
And so they were like, you know, just tell me you stole the money. And I'm like, I didn't do it. You know, I'm lying nonstop. So it was like 6 months that we weren't talking. And had stole some like coins and stuff out of there and just all kinds of stuff out of their safe. And I called my dad and I was like, I need help, you know. And looking back, I only needed help because I was caught, like with the grand larceny stuff.
Yeah.
So they are wonderful parents. They come and picked me up, you know, and took me back to Memphis, put me in rehab. I will say this too, because this is very important. I think they didn't realize the severity of the issue. So when they picked me up, I was like, I need to get some pills. And they're like, okay, what do you need? I was like, I need $250 and I need you to take me to my dealer's house when we get there. And so they did, like they agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I, at this point was taking, this is before heroin and meth. I was just taking Loratabs or Percocet 10s, 17 at a time. That was my dose, probably like 7 or 8 times a day. So we get to this house and they give me the money. I go and get it and I come back. I'm sitting in the backseat of my mom's car. My mom's kind of like looking at me and I just take this handful of pills and she's like, you're going to die. You know, like that's her knee jerk. I'm like, no, I'll be great. You know, this is no problem. But it just breaks my heart. I think about this all the time. We never talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember her face, her mouth just kind of like open a little bit and she was just staring at me.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Like we have a huge fucking problem on our hands. Like this is going to be, you know.
You just took 2 bottles of pills.
Yeah. Right. And so I went into rehab, ended up going into rehab, still wasn't coming forth with like the honesty of the whole sexuality thing. Didn't really want to talk about it because I was scared. The 30 days, what we were just talking about, I was still cloudy minded.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to rehab and I don't even know if my parents know this one too. I had denied it. I was like, I'm not doing this because they were going to put me in some like lockdown thing, but it was a good rehab. So I told my parents, I was like, you know, they don't have anything for me or something right now. I forgot what I lied about. And they took me back to their house to wait for that rehab to call. And thank God at that time, the rehab called back and was like, well, we know he's a professional, you know, used to be a professional and stuff. So we have this certain part that we can put him in. It's co-ed and it's like real lax and whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I'll agree to that. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we went to rehab. I get there, do all the intake. This lady tells me that the psychiatrist is going to come evaluate me and give me some medicine, some Subutex or Suboxone or whatever I needed. I was like, okay. So as I'm sitting there, this little guy walks in the door. He knows me. I know him. He's the doctor. And he's like, Mr. Spradley, what seems to be the problem? And point blank, I was like, you know what the fucking problem is. This guy is one that you go give cash to, and he'll write you a script for whatever you want. And I've been doing
now
this.
he's working the
One of the
treatments?
phones that I was talking about earlier had to do with all
wow.
this stuff. And he's like, oh, you know good, you know good, you get you better. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this dude works at the rehab as well.
Yeah.
So I called my dad, I think later on, or somebody, my mom, and I was like, he's here, you know. And they're like, oh my gosh, you know, this is, you know, how crazy is that? I had no idea. So this guy is like, you know,
He's in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to give him any credit because he's still in business to this day.
Yeah.
And still works at this rehab. It's so bizarre.
Wow.
You know, I think about that all the time. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So through rehab, co-ed, relax, plush. It wasn't rehab. Ended up meeting a guy that was a meth dealer there, and he's like, "Oh, we get out about the same time." I'm like, "Cool, this is cool." And I had gotten more high off the Subutex that they gave me in there than I ever been off the street drugs. I mean, I was soaring. I'm like, "This is
That's
great."
crazy. Yeah.
And they do like the taper thing. So 5 days, by the 5th day, you're off. First day is the biggest dose, then it steps down.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
So your parents found this treatment center?
I don't remember how it came about. We both knew about it because it's in proximity to like our town. It's like the only one that you really go to with like insurance in Memphis that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just so dangerous for parents that are looking to like save their kids' lives, and they think that they're picking like the best place for their kid, and it's just so much research has to be involved, and not just like research, but like knowing someone in the industry or something, like having someone that can help you pick the right place. Because it would break my heart as a parent to think like, okay, I'm gonna help my son, I'm gonna save my son, and I send him to a place and he's getting higher than a kite, meeting meth dealers and making plans,
Right.
It's sad.
Right. Like, I don't think that they had besides my dad, he's been to a couple different treatment facilities, or at least one that I can remember, maybe two. And those were in St. Louis. Now we're in Memphis. And so I don't think they really knew of anywhere else besides this one. And I do feel like maybe they were the ones that had said this place, and
Did they have any experience with Al-Anon at all?
No,
up to this point?
Not at this point.
Okay.
My mom, I think, did a little bit, or was invited to a group whenever my dad was going through his stuff. But no, they are now, though. I'm actually going to be, they asked me last night if I could speak to their group the next time we're in Memphis. So, yeah.
Wow.
And that's something that's helped both of us. So my parents are like huge enablers. Like, they just want their kids to do good. My dad had a rough childhood. So did my mom. And Jacob and I basically never really had any real rules. It was whatever we wanted. And Dad, Bob, is so happy-go-lucky. He just smiles, and he's the same, all the time. My mom is awesome too. She's very much for her kids. So yeah, we never experienced like like real hardline rules. And like whenever my dad went through his stuff, I remember my mom not really knowing what to do. She was learning as she went, and she felt probably, I would assume, alone, because at that point, nobody else had really been through all this stuff. So like my dad paved the way, and then now here I am, 20 years later, going through the same thing, but way worse. Like, I definitely took the lead on this one. And they went to Naranon, is it? Or Al-Anon? Which one is it, the family? Al-Anon. Yeah. I always want to say Naranon. Went to Al-Anon, and they decided to learn some boundaries.
Yeah.
And draw some hard lines for me. And that is the best thing that could have ever happened for our relationship, both ways. Because it taught them how to say no. We've helped too much, and you need to find this on your own.
Yeah.
And it made me actually grow and find it on my own. In turn, gave me like self-confidence and the desire to keep doing it. Because, okay, so I hit this milestone on my own. I can do the next one, and the next one, and the next one without anybody's help. And that is the most rewarding feeling, So them joining that group has been probably a cornerstone for all of us to maintain our family unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. And they still are active in it, and just making sure we're all just abiding by our boundaries and happy and healthy. And I mean, the boundaries now aren't even like thought about, because I don't have to cross them because I'm not doing anything. So it's not like, you're not going to talk to me like this. There's none of those conversations anymore. You're not going to ask me for money.
Yeah.
Because that just never happens, And actually now it's probably the opposite. Like when I got out, they come down, they're like, what can we help you with? They're just like so excited,
Yeah.
that they finally had their son back,
Yeah.
and that I've put in the work, and they were there to watch it all through my prison career.
Yeah.
Almost 5 years, I mean.
Okay, so wait, what happened when you left that treatment center?
Yeah.
What happened between there and prison?
Okay, yeah.
Without getting too much like into it and like glorifying any of it.
Yep.
Like how quickly did your life completely fall apart?
Almost immediately. I mean, the co-ed thing, I met this girl that was in there that was a property manager of an apartment complex. And she was like, well, you can just come here and I'll hook you up. You can just have your own apartment. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I left there and went straight into my own apartment. And that was the biggest mistake because I wasn't ready for it, And once I got there, she was in the treatment facility for like mental health reasons. So she wasn't an addict, but she had access to stuff. And so that first night I got out, she brought me some ecstasy. I was like, of course I'm gonna celebrate. And it just ran wild. And then that other guy got out that I spoke about, the drug dealer guy. And that's where the meth addiction kicked off because I didn't know, and I didn't have enough money to get pills. And he was like, I'll just give you some of this, and the meth really took a hold of me immediately. I mean, it was like less than 3 months I was using a needle. It went from snorting it, smoking it, needle, rapidly. And I would get so high that I needed something to bring me back down. That's where heroin came in. And once I tried that, it was like, oh, my best friend's back, like from the Percocets and Lortabs that I was liking. And now it's both.
And once you cross that Rubicon with the needles, like it's a wrap, man. It's just like there's things you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube, dude. It's just bad. It's just and like you're messing around with Lortabs or Percocet or whatever, but now you start shooting some real smack. It's like, oh my God, it's over with. And it's just so surreal to look at the paraphernalia at different times. Like, really? I'm doing this is it, This is crazy.
Yeah, it was completely wild. I mean, I look back on it and it's just so sad. I can only imagine like what my family, like what was it like through their lens? You know, I would love to put them in a room like this and then watch it later on and let them just talk about.
Honestly, I had that thought earlier. I was like, I wonder if we can get his parents on.
They're here. They're here until Saturday.
I'm down.
And they would totally do it.
Okay.
They were going to come with me today.
Oh.
And Shower Power was wanting to come with me today. I mean, everybody. But
we got an opening tomorrow morning.
Yeah, they would do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so life falls apart.
Yeah.
You're now an IV user.
Yeah.
During this period of using, did you have thoughts of like, this is going to be the rest of my life, or how am I going to get out of this? Like, did you have any of those thoughts, or did that not really cross your mind? All of a sudden you're at a stop sign and then your life changed.
Yeah, pretty much. I never really had those thoughts of like, this is going to be the rest of my life. Because I was just so consumed in the day-to-day thing.
It's a very living in the moment
Yeah.
and the next high type of vibe. You're not really thinking long term.
Yeah, which is almost freeing in itself because you are living, they say to live in the present. Well, you definitely are.
Oh, you
Whenever
in
you're
it.
doing that, you're in
Yeah.
the present. Yeah.
Ain't nothing. Ain't no past,
Absolutely.
no future. It's right here. What's in my
Nothing.
pocket. Yeah.
That's right. And it tailspins after that. I mean, you're living in the moment, but everything around you, when you're not thinking forward or learning from your experiences from behind you, it can get real bad real quick. And you're not even understanding of that, but everybody around you is like, lay down, but you're like, I'm good. You're the problem. No.
Yeah. Okay, so I know we're jumping around so much today, but it's been kind of interesting to do that and see, those different periods of your life. Let's talk about the solution and how that's really, really changed your life. Because when I'm talking to you today and I'm like looking in your eyes and you're describing how you were back then, and this happens so many times when people are talking in recovery, I'm like, there's no way this
Yeah.
guy, and
All
like
the time.
it's crazy to think about. And so, we were just talking to someone the other day about, the 12-step program and its success rate and stuff. And when people say like, oh, it doesn't work for me, but like it works for millions of people and you're
Mhm.
one of them. And
Yeah.
in such a way where it seems like there's been an entire psychic change in your life, so much so that you're in a position today where you're helping other people, and you could have very easily not made it there, and so I would love to give credit where credit's due and talk about that stuff and give some people some hope. So when you got out, you get to David's house,
Yeah.
then what?
So I get to David's house and it feels like I'm going off to college almost because like I'm back in like a twin size bed, back in a room with, a house with some other
Amazon
dudes.
sheets.
Yeah. My parents had come down, to pick me up from prison, and thank God they did, because it just was a good experience for them as well, and they were so excited. So we go to Walmart and get new sheets and new blankets and food and like all the stuff that I need, so I'm going off to college of recovery, here we go, the second chapter. And I remember just like laying in that bed that first night and just being like, okay, cool. I'm free. My parents want to be around me. That's pretty important. I knew I had already had a job lined up at that point to work for the state. That's where I started out. And
You had really done some legwork in prison towards the end there, really lining all this stuff up. I can't
Yeah.
imagine how important that probably was.
right. And I think just like staying focused and keeping my nose to the ground is what helped me maintain my sobriety while I was in there, because
Mhm.
it's so boring and drugs are so plentiful. I mean, and you don't have to drive to get them, and you don't have to have money to get them either. The bartering system works there, so yeah, getting out and then finally being on my own, I had things lined up, but I only did what my sponsor and other people told me to do,
Mhm.
All right, so you don't just wait for somebody else to do it for you. You need to find housing. You need to find a job. You need to find a vehicle to get to the job. And you need to start thinking about what you want to do for your family situation. You have a kid. I wasn't able to be in his life while I was in prison. She didn't allow him to come see me. So now that I'm out, I was told, not by her, but by family, that her goal was to wait till I got out, show that I could remain sober. So now I'm out. Now the next leg of this journey is to still remain sober, but also work hard so people can see that I'm serious about this. So what does that look like? The job and vehicle and house and maintaining it all. My problem is sustainability. Like, it's no problem to get the stuff, but can I sustain it? We got to have longevity here so people can understand that you're really working towards it. And so that's what I did. I got out. Took me like a month to actually start working. My parents were really, really helpful. They helped with my rent. And they would even tell me, they were like, look, we'll pay this month, but next month you need to get on it, because we don't want to just support you, like it's over with that. You need to figure this out on your own. So
Did you believe them?
yeah. And not only did I believe them, it was super important to me to do it, to be able to give them a sense of peace finally, because after I became sober, that was one of the biggest things that disturbed me about my usage. It was how much I affected other people's lives and how much they had to focus on me and not on themselves. And at what cost, I mean, what if my parents would have divorced over this? I mean, they've been happily married since right after high school and have been through so much. What if they weren't as strong, or able to maintain or navigate this healthily? And what if I was, cause of a divorce? So all that stuff was running through my mind. And I just was so appreciative that that didn't happen. That's not our story. So what can I do right now to give back to them something, and to me, it's always been just peace of mind, honesty, and my love. Honesty is a big thing because I was so dishonest for so long. I mean, I didn't want to believe anything, but now that I'm out, I got to maintain that, and not ask them for stuff, because it's so easy to call the bank of mom and dad.
Yeah.
I need clothes. I need this. I need that. And before you know it, you get wrapped up in it and you're just using it and using them, because you don't want to work, or you want to just do what you want to do. And it was super important to me just to make my own money and to be able to make it on my own. So yeah, they paid for stuff that first month. And I think they did the second month too. Because the paycheck stuff, I had to wait for a minute to get my paycheck.
I knew they were going to give you another month.
Yeah. And they only did that.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, and you're right though. I mean, you're right. And I remember like having to ask them, or let them know, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to, but we know you're going to start working. And I remember in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, as soon as I start working, I will not ask for like anything. Even when you come down here, let's not go shopping and all that stuff. Like, I don't need anything from you besides just your time. Like, I want to spend time with you guys.
Yeah.
And not use that as manipulation to get what I want. Like, oh, let's spend a weekend like it used to be or whatever. And then after it's like, I need
right.
I mean, give me a
Done the
break.
buttering up.
Yeah. The last 1 hour that they're there, then you're going to lay it on the line of what you need, and they're going to do it, So yeah, it's so important to me today. Like I said, they're here now, and I'm so excited. They came in yesterday, and there's not one thing that I need from them.
Yeah.
Period. Besides just like, and it makes me kind of emotional because it just is so nice to see them, and they're in my apartment, and they're seeing all this stuff, and they're just blown away because the recovery part, the hope, I had a plan and I stuck to the plan. Like literally everything that I had planned out 5 years ago on how I wanted this to look like has happened because I've stuck with that plan. Like things might pivot a little bit or, change, and that's okay. But for the most part, the hard lines, they've stayed the same, sober living, vehicle, job, better job, kid, in that order, because that's how it has to happen. You can't have those things. And that little guy at the very last is really first, but you got to have all that to be able to take care of him. And like with his mom, it's really important that I just show up and make child support payments. She doesn't probably need them, but it shows consistency. And while I was in prison, I wrote to him. They didn't let us write mail for the COVID part. So it was like a year before I could start writing letters. And then I started writing them every week.
You couldn't write mail?
You're supposed to be able to.
That's
but
insane.
they run off their own rules inside there.
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So every week, one letter. And that was my part of showing her consistency. And actually last night was the first night that her and I talked on the phone. We've been texting a lot. And everything's happening. I'm about to see him. We're getting close. Like real close.
You haven't seen him this whole time at all.
No.
Oh my gosh, man.
No.
This makes me sad.
It is super sad, but it's
Yeah.
actually really,
It is what it is.
we're at the end
Yeah.
of it. And
Wow.
like, he really wants to see me. My parents get to see him. She has been an awesome mom, stepped up to the plate and had to pick up all these pieces because I'm in prison. It's easy for me. I
Right.
don't have to see people and have to deal with all this mayhem I caused. But she did. And she stuck through it. And she's come out. When I was talking to her last night, we talked for like 3 hours. And just hearing her voice and what she's been through is like, wow, man, she's strong and she's a wonderful person. I'm so thankful. She might not agree with this, but I'm so thankful it was her, because she can handle it. Like she has handled it, and not only handled it, but thrived out of it and is doing wonderful, and Jack is doing wonderful. My son, everybody is. And so, I mean, things happen, to the people that can handle them. That's for sure.
That's cool.
And she's one of them, but yeah.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't get to talk about shower power, because shower power in places like it hold a spot in my heart, because I've lived on the streets several times.
Yeah.
I was on the streets, Mobile for a little while, in New Orleans, and up in parts of Colorado, and I would show up at places like that, and get some clothes, get a lot. It was a place in New Orleans. There's this kid I was hanging out with in the squat. His name was Ishmael. He had a really messed up grill. It was a black kid. It was about 5 years younger than me. Anyway, he had the greatest attitude, and he was kind of showing me around. Anyways, he was like, "Let's go to St. Charles. There's a Catholic church over there with a priest every Thursday or whatever. Let you run through the thrift store and put on whatever whatever you can wear out." And gives you a cheese sandwich and a pickle and $1. $1 is like, and everybody would just make their way over. Well, I just had all my stuff stolen, like everything. Somebody came to the squat when I was like passed out somewhere and taken out. So I had like nothing. So I go through there. I'm like, go through the shop, and I'm just like grabbing this stuff. Ishmael's like, "Dude, you're gonna need some of these. You want to have a nice shirt, like a decent looking shirt. So if you go through a restaurant or something, you're looking for scraps. You don't get run out." So I get like this 1970s like nice button-up shirt with like, it's got a little bit of a larger collar on it, and like the only pair is like, he's like, "You might want to get something that you can, like, if you want to do some shoplift and have some bigger pockets in it." It's like, okay, so I get some pockets, some bigger pants. Anyways, I come out of there like just a John Travolta crazy looking clown, but I got my cheese sandwich, pickle, and $1, and it's like, but there have been so many times where showing up at a place like that and hanging out with people, it might not have been the best situation I was in, but I remember those moments of just being like, you know what, I'm not doing so good, but this right here is just everything. To be able to laugh about it and be able to hang out and stand in line while you get food from a volunteer. I mean, that's why I like to go down there now, is to see it. I mean, sometimes it's hard, because the people are at the lowest spot they've ever been, but at the same time, there's joy, there's happiness, and to see you over there getting to do it is just really cool. So you gotta tell me, how did you get hooked up with shower power?
Okay, so shower
And
power.
real quick, the likelihood of anyone in this city not knowing what shower power is very low.
Slim to-
But for those people that are maybe outside of our state or outside of our community, talk a little bit about exactly what that is,
Sure.
and what you guys do there.
Yeah. So shower power is a ministry that was formed by a lady named Teresa Reckenberger, and she had this idea. She had been talking to different people that are homeless throughout the streets, just stopping and talking to them. One in particular, his name is Benny. She asked him, where does he take a shower? And Benny's response was in the sink at a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
So it got her thinking, what can we do to bring showers to these people? She bought a truck and outfitted it with a shower, and then showed back up to Benny, and Benny wouldn't get inside. He would not take a shower in that truck. He just was scared.
Truck shower.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, "I'm not getting in there like this crazy lady," you know what I'm saying? But she was like, she's so sweet, you know what I mean?
John hooked a hose up to it. Threw it back.
She is such a wonderful person,
Yeah.
and so she was like, "Okay, well, what do I do with this truck now?" And he was like, "Take it to downtown Jackson. They need showers there." So that's what she did. She took it down there, and that's how it started. That was like in 2018, 19. And everything just kind of came together, then it started like clothes, because you need clothes to take a shower. I'm hungry, so we need some food, and it just kind of naturally happened. And then there's a building available. Okay, well, great, let's do it. And opens this building, and then donations, because people are hearing about it, and it just has become so big so quickly. From the people that believe in us. The thing that's cool that I'll say about shower power that you don't find very often is we are private donations. That's how we get most of our money, all of our money. And in order to get a private donation, that means somebody's got to believe in your cause.
Yeah.
If they don't believe in it, you're not getting anything. But we have a huge amount of people that are giving us their time, financial resources, and ideas on what we can do to build shower power. So now we're in a building that every Friday people come from 9 to 12. and we have different companies that sponsor lunches. So we'll have a different lunch every Friday. You can get clothes, you can get food, hygiene. Shoot, even your pets can get food. We even have stuff for them. We have
dog
it for
food,
everybody. Yeah. Suitcases and stuff. These people are unhoused. They're walking around with their bags. Their bags sit on the ground, So we go through suitcases so much. But you can get suitcases and bags, all again, purely off private donations. People literally pulling up with a truck full of stuff, from stuff they don't need to a loved one passing away. We get all kinds of different donations. And we also take on many different things. Like one of the things is like the homeless emergency shelters.
Yep.
We take care of that. Like if we have something happen, a weather issue.
Yeah, y'all have totally stepped up because Jackson just falls completely short. I mean, when we get 20-degree nights, there's nothing. There's nowhere. I mean, shower power is pretty much the go-to for that.
Yeah.
It's happened.
And
Yeah.
the crazier part about that too is, so some of the homeless shelters, you only can stay in 5 nights a week.
Right.
So say the weather hits and you've used your 5 nights, you're out there,
Yeah.
you know? So we'll open up an emergency shelter. We have cots because people have donated them, and all the food and everything we need. We'll go to Sam's or wherever we can. Our volunteers will, our donors will, and it is one of the coolest things. I can't wait to go through it. I hope it's bad to say that because it's, a negative thing like for them, but I haven't been able to experience that yet. I've only seen it on paper from my job and analyzing everything that we've done this past year.
Yeah.
And when I went through that file the other day, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I don't know how they made this happen, but I mean, it just was, and this is just from paperwork that I was seeing, just an outpouring of love.
Yeah.
And making sure that they're okay, that you're warm and that you have everything you need. So we do stuff like that. Then we also help with like case by case stuff, victims of domestic violence, people with drug addictions. We're putting people in rehab. You were there, I think, last Friday, and we were putting 2 people in rehab.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. I just sent one guy off to Boynton Beach, Florida. He's on his way to rehab, and he got there. We put him on a bus. He got down there. They received him.
That's awesome.
And now we're still in contact with him and everything, and he is loving life. I mean, he's at the beach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he did that all on his own too. A lot of times I can speak for myself. If you want to go to rehab, here's my phone, figure one out.
Yeah.
And let me know, because you got to do the work. You got to decide, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. You have to go somewhere that is going to help you. And so the rehab's a huge part of it. And then we have people with like autism. I thought I was going to be late this morning because we have an autistic transgender friend. We call them friends. That, not to get too deep in it, but her and her father, I guess, kept getting into fights. She gets angry quickly. And so the judge took the matters into his own hands and signed a restraining order against both of them. So she couldn't go home. So
right.
Where does she go? They put her in a bus at a mental institution and dropped her off at Billy Brumfield.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about like 4th or 5th grade education level.
Yeah.
Living on the streets now as a transgender, which has a whole slew of issues I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So where does she go? She came to the right place, because how I got involved with it was living in David's house. You either work or you volunteer. That's kind of one of the requirements, right?
Yeah.
You got to be doing something.
Do something. Yeah.
And one of my friends introduced me into shower power. So I started volunteering there and fell into it quickly. And that first volunteer experience, I met this person. It happened to be that same day that she was dropped off.
Wow.
Didn't know where to go, and they guided her to shower power. And so now I'm in a capacity to help people. I like get paid to be a good person. That's awesome. Like this is surreal. And we get to help. I get to help. Like, that's my job. So this morning I had to go and take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
Get some things done, make sure she's okay. And after I leave here, we got another guy that got knocked in the head with a gun or something in the hospital. who does he call? Shower Power, because
Yeah.
he needs some clothes because they cut his off. This is how it goes.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
did. Yeah.
but that's what I do every day,
Wow.
and that's what Shower Power is. We are there for you wherever you're at.
Yeah.
We want to see you do better. We want to see you get off drugs. We want to see you in a house.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not reality. That's not the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the controlling person in me wants that, but I have to learn not to be controlling. I can't control the outcome. So I just meet you where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And so does everybody else at Shower Power. And we just try to exercise on what skills we see in you to be able to sharpen them, to hopefully get you around to your own realization that you can have a better life or whatever life you want to live. Even if you want to be homeless, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like whatever you want to do, if you want to, a majority of the people, as you know, want to be like, they don't want to be in a house.
Yeah.
They'd rather be outside, which is mind blowing to me because I'm not used to that. That's not my life. But then you got to think about, okay, if that's what they want, where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
Like what environment did they leave that they think that this is pretty suitable? You know what I'm saying? For the most part,
Yeah.
Yeah. So just with Shower Power, the wonderful thing about us is we get to help such a wide array of people. And in turn, it feeds me
Mm-hmm.
in my recovery.
Oh yeah.
It's my service work. Again, I get,
Yeah.
get my service work in, I get my daily dose of
Yeah.
everybody, and I feed my ego because I feel good at the end of the night, and I'm
Mhm.
like, good job, Nick. You did great today. And thank you to, all the people that helped me in my recovery. They don't realize that. That's not something we talk about because usually
Yeah.
it's just one way. I'm helping you, right? And I'll share my experience if it comes up, but they're really helping me more than I'm helping them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I saw something y'all shared the other day. Y'all helped some guy find his birth certificate.
Oh, yeah. We do IDs and birth certificates for free.
That
Mhm.
is so cool.
Yeah, so if you can get a free ID or birth certificate, and we have CPAs that come in, and they sit down every Friday, and they fill out your paperwork. You fill it out one Friday. If you were born in state, chances are you'll get it next Friday. If you're born out of state, it might take a little longer. We have certain situations, like if you're adopted, if anybody's listening, that's adopted, and wants one, that's a little harder because a lot of times they're sealed, but we
Mhm.
still will work for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get those 2 forms of ID, and then you get to go to the Social Security office and get your Social Security card. Now you have all 3 forms of ID that are the key to anything you want to unlock in life. You
Yeah.
have to have those 3 forms. Everybody, it's just how it is. And
It's a cool service you
It-
guys do.
And that's like
Yeah.
again, we talk about being unhoused, but like that's my time at Shower Power. The time because I worked for probably about 2 months. I was working on the ID stuff. That's what I did. Instead of like shopping or just greeting people, I really because I was realizing these people like almost become unpersoned. Like they have absolutely nothing. Like I don't have a driver's license, I don't have a Social Security card, I don't have a birth certificate. I've got nothing but this like basket of stuff that I got here at Shower Power last week. That was it. And you're just meeting them, and they don't really have the life skills or the communication skills to follow up because it's a process. They show up and they give their name. They sit down, like what you said, with somebody who's going to help them get this stuff. They got to come back next week, and if they don't, then they don't get to follow up. And so it's really, really hard for them to just get the things that they need to get. Then when they do get an ID, that a lot of times they lose them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredibly difficult, and it's just like you just like vanished, man. You can't do anything without those 3 things. A birth certificate, a state ID, or a Social Security card. I mean, just like, who are you?
yeah.
And they have that feeling.
Mhm.
It's really, I'd tell you the saddest thing is for me, it's been like, there's people out there that were like me, that I could tell that they were just living outside because they could do it and they could get away with what they want to get away with. But like meeting the single moms, like walk up with like 2 kids and like where y'all staying? Like then they point to a 30-year-old car. Like that's where we live, in that car. And you meet that family every week. There's a couple of them up there, and it's just like, man, this is real. This isn't just like you've made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like this is you've got a raw hand that somebody's dealt you.
Yeah.
And if you want some gratitude and you want to know you're in the right space, like go up there on a Friday morning, hang out for a little while, and shopping or getting IDs or whatever. That has always I've always liked doing that. But just sitting out there and being available and like going to talk to somebody, just saying, hey, what's up, man? Where are you from? What do you need? Have you got everything? What's this weekend look like for you? Just whatever, because nobody's talking to them. Or I wouldn't say that. I don't know. But to be able to have dialogue with them is a big deal.
Yeah. So, like, if someone is listening and they're like, well, I want to help, do they need to be a part of whatever organization is like sponsoring that week? Or can people just come and be like, hey, where do you need me?
They can go on our website, and my phone number is listed on there, and they can contact me, and we can get them in for volunteering. I highly encourage people to contact us before they want to volunteer, because it's always good to touch base and kind of explain different scenarios and different things and what to expect and what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
It depends even like on genders and stuff like that. We have to be super careful, with ladies coming there, and just making sure that they're treated respectfully, which they normally are, it's never really an issue. But it's good just to go over things like that, to be able to.
It goes both ways, man. There's some girls up there that have not treated me very respectfully.
I was getting ready to say that too. Yeah, it's usually the guys that get it the worst. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Usually the guys definitely do. But just to know that it's unfiltered up there.
Yeah.
And
it's real.
Yeah, you want to really see what the other part of this world looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on a Friday, and I encourage it. We would take anybody to come volunteer, as long as you're, in the right frame of mind and you're doing it for all the right reasons. I have no problem with you coming to volunteer, period. Like, we're actually having kids come. I just talked to Holy Savior Catholic Church on Sunday. I went to their youth group. We have 7th grade through 12th grade. And 7th grade is really on that line of like, should you really come, but they've been there before, so they know the situation, So with the youth, it's great because, like I was explaining to them, they're in such a rapid growth period from like the time you're born until you graduate college. I mean, you just learn so much, and like so much goes on in your life, and you form all these opinions and views on the world. What better time to come volunteer with us so your little mind can understand something else, to be able to grow, and hopefully be a part of our ministry for the rest of your life and your kids' life. And it's a generational thing that we're hoping. So anybody's welcome to come volunteer. We sometimes have huge corporations that want to come out. They'll send 15 or 20 people. That's really too much at one time. We'd like to split them up and you have like 7, or 5, a couple different times. But yeah, volunteering, getting out there, that'll teach you some life lessons. It'll get you right.
Are there any particular donations you guys are in need of in this moment? Anything you're running low on?
I'm glad you asked that, of course. So one of the biggest things that we need is actually men's pants.
Okay.
We can never keep men's pants like size 28 or 30 through like 34 because most of the unhoused are skinny.
Yeah.
And we have like a lot of bigger pants, but then we run out of belts. So everybody's walking around with one hand around the loop, their pants, trying to keep them up. And so, yeah, anything like that, or like athletic pants or underwear is always, every week we're down to like 2 or 3 pair before we go through donations again to see what we have for the next week, Hygiene items are always a necessity. That's usually what people tend to go towards the most is hygiene. And we appreciate that. We need it so much. But yeah, the clothes, like the men's clothes and stuff like that, we're getting into wintertime coats, stuff like warming items.
It goes out there some days during the wintertime, and it would be cold, man. I mean, you just want to throw clothes on them. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. They're just so freezing cold. They're out there sleeping. Sometimes the shelters wouldn't be open. I mean, the shelters aren't opening when it's 35 degrees. That's cold, dude. It's super cold. And that wind gets cutting through and it's raining.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, whew.
You just nailed it. You had another layer of rain onto being cold. You talk about miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tents. Like right now, people are needing tents. We just had a Boy Scout troop donate 17 of their old tents.
Oh, that's nice.
It was really cool. I love seeing stuff like that. You know, like when we have the little groups that put stuff together for us and they're so excited and we're so excited. It's so heartwarming to be with that. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. beyond that, like maybe non-perishable items. We do snack bags every week. Everybody that's there, they get a snack bag to take with them because it's the weekend. A lot of places aren't open. So where are you going to eat? You know, give them little snack bags with whatever we have that week and send them on their way. And sorry.
No, you go.
And like the last thing I would say is like bags. So like suitcases and tote bags and purses are in need all the time too, because we just go through them so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
when you mentioned suitcases earlier, I was like, oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, we're beyond shopping carts now. We get suitcases on wheels. You know,
They're
that's what
fancy.
everybody's pulling around downtown. Really, yeah. And those little wheels that
They're
you wear
looking
right
for
up.
their Airbnb. They're like drug going
Yeah,
down.
yeah, you think they're like a tourist, you know? Yeah, that's so
awesome.
funny. Yeah.
I would love for my 16-year-old to be able to get involved in some way and volunteer, but obviously he's in school on Friday morning. So is there something else he can do for you guys?
Sure. I'm up there all the time. So if he just wanted to come hang out for a day, if he wanted to come for like a day in the life type of experience with me, I'm completely fine with that.
That'd be cool.
I've thought about doing this before. I don't know how I would set it up, but I'm thinking out loud, and
he can be
maybe
your
getting ahead
guinea
of myself.
pig.
He can just come and hang out. I mean, I'm gonna have you sign a waiver,
Yeah.
for safety. No, I'm messing with you. But yeah, just kind of go around, and he can meet certain people like I was talking about earlier, and just hang out with me during the day, and get an idea, like a real raw idea of it. Because I mean, Fridays are good. You get an idea,
Yeah.
but you really get an idea whenever you're driving around and helping crisis situations unfold. In real time.
Yeah.
You get a very good understanding of what.
To go from riding around with a bunch of cell phones, trying to figure out how I'm going to get a bag of dope at 3 a.m., wonder how this cop got my number to all these different phones, to now run around the streets of Jackson trying to help as many people as possible on an everyday basis. I mean, if you're looking for a recovery story, you can stop looking. This is it. This is amazing. It's really, really cool. And I'm excited about what you've done, but also I'm excited about what I know I see God working in your life, and I see you've got this energy and this attitude that's just like, this is going to be a good story to watch. I hope that you can come back and talk more with Recovery Lab. Your parents want to come on. I thought about getting my mom on here, old Betty Sugg, to come in here and talk about what it was like raising David. I just don't know. I mean, I think it'd be great, but I don't know, man.
I love a parent.
Yeah. But to get to watch your story continue to grow, man, let's do some cool things in this town. It's really cool. I hope we get to hang out and do some cool stuff. But thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a good old time. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and everybody stay safe out there, and just stay thankful. Stay thankful for all the blessings in your life, because they're all around you all the time, every day. And the more we focus on those, the more that gratitude grows. And I think that's a good thing for all of us. So yeah, you guys have a good week.